I was quite consumed with that for a while. What I'm going to do when I'm old. I'm going to just go into cathedrals and say, rubbish, nonsense, explain. The difference between me and the comedians with blue mohair suits. They were happy to do racist, sexist, homophobic. That was the way of it. That was what was considered funny. And you didn't speak about religion or politics. It was considered bad manners to talk about religion or politics in public, which is extraordinary.
How did it all start, though, that you started taking the mickey, if you like, out of religion?
Well, the only other alternative to doing that was going out and telling jokes, like the Irishman, Englishman, Scotsman, or sexy jokes, or all those other kinds of jokes. And I don't find the thought very appealing, being a joke teller.
I've offended most religions. I didn't set out to do that, but they take offence so easily. The Last Supper and the crucifixion came to me as a joke by a guy called Tam Quinn. I thought it was hysterical, and that night I told it on stage and I expanded on it. And it went really well. So the following gig I did, whenever that was, I expanded more on it, and it became ridiculous as I kept expanding on it. It became bigger and bigger and floppier at the ends until it became almost my whole act. And I became infamous for it. And it was the making of me.
It obviously comes from somebody who's got a detailed knowledge of Holy Scripture, which people forget. You don't have that level of detail unless you've taken in the message. And I think it's warm and affectionate, and I don't think it's, speaking as a Christian, I don't think it's cruel, and I don't think it's mocking.
I thought it was absolutely thrilling to put Glaswegian vernacular in the mouths of Jesus and the 12 disciples. It was astonishing and scary.
I think he did a lot to make religion not such a scary thing. You could say that you weren't comfortable with it. You could say that you didn't really believe or you didn't know what to believe, and it became acceptable. Before that, you really couldn't.
There's a weirdness about the sectarianism in the West that doesn't exist in some of the East. In some of the West, some of the East it does, bits of Edinburgh, stuff like that.
Bigotry and deprivation seem to go hand in hand. And being Catholic and Glaswegian, I was educated separately from my Protestant friends, from the people I was brought up with. And this is where I learned bigotry at first hand. Because we as Catholics had holidays of obligation throughout the year, the Protestant schools made up for this by giving the kids an extra week in summer. And during this extra week, they would come down to right here and harangue us through the railings. And during holidays of obligation, we would go up the hill to their school and harangue them through the railings. Not the most pleasant thing to happen to a kid.
The tail of that beast keeps wagging. I think it's less potent than it used to be. It's louder than it used to be, but it's less potent. Fewer people are hurt than they used to be. If you look at the membership of those societies, they're all falling. They're all tumbling. But the social media makes it look alive. It's one of the crimes of social media. It makes fanaticism look alive. When it's just a guy in his underpants in his mother's cellar. The modern age can't tolerate that kind of thing.